Now, I've talked about this in past videos where I've said that Colin Kaepernick behind the scenes is working on a lawsuit, you know, against the NFL and the white supremacist billionaire boys club, or AKA slave owners of the NFL. I knew this was actually behind the scenes. I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't know when and how, you know, this was going to play out, right? But the people who were complaining about, well, Colin Kaepernick needs to be more vocal and needs to do more interviews and et cetera, well, here's the reason why he has not been vocal to the public, to the mainstream media, besides, you know, going on Twitter and social media, you know, retweeting posts and stuff like that. That's what he would do for the majority of his time since he's been unemployed from the NFL. Right, but for the most part, he has been remained pretty much silent, and this is the reason why. He's been working behind the scenes to present a case, a extremely valid case of collusion. Okay, it's grievance of collusion against the white supremacist NFL slave owners. Okay, the exact title is Colin Kaepernick reportedly files grievance against NFL owners for collusion. Okay, now I don't even really call it collusion. It's corruption. The white supremacist billionaire boys club, which is the NFL, the slave owners, they are a corrupt organization. They practice open white supremacy. They abide by a white supremacist leader, which is Donald Trump, aka Clockwork Orange. And it's been prevalent since Donald Trump gave his direct orders to his billionaire friends to get down or lay down, in our honorable words of Benny Siegel, get down or lay down, meaning if a black slave player, a nigger, so-called disrespects the flag by kneeling, you punish him, you fire him, you get rid of him. That's a direct order. That came from the new face of white supremacy, Donald Trump, aka Clockwork Orange. It came from him. Okay, now, since Donald Trump came out and, you know, called the NFL players, the black players specifically, sons of bitches, the NFL as a whole decided to do some fake ass unity by locking arms, right? Again, like I said before, none of these white supremacist feminist leaders or organizations came out and defended or called out Donald Trump for his continuance of white supremacy and misogyny, calling NFL players sons of bitches, black players specifically. None of these feminist organizations came out and said anything, right? So again, the NFL players, the slave players that abide by the rules and regulations of their white supremacist billionaire owners, the slave owners, they want to come together and lock arms because the new face of white supremacy, Clockwork Orange, calls you guys sons of bitches. But every day, race soldiers masquerading around as police officers are killing and have been killing unarmed black men, women, and children since the inception of the transatlantic slave trade in 1505. Since Reconstruction, since Jim Crow, since the end of segregation. All of the evidence continues to skyrocket. None of these slave players band together for that, but they band together for being called a son of a bitch. Right? They band together and lock arms for being called a son of a bitch by the new face of white supremacy. Okay? But I digress regarding that. So back to the subject at hand. Like I said, this was behind the scenes. This was in the works that Colin Kaepernick was working on a lawsuit. I didn't know how it would play out. I didn't know when he was going to do this, but now it's finally here. You know, I hope that he gets every penny from the NFL, as much as he can possibly get. Okay, for collusion, for corruption, just basically, we know this. Whiteballing Colin Kaepernick from being employed in the NFL. Now, like I said before, I'm okay with Colin Kaepernick not playing in the NFL again. I have a lifetime boycott of the NFL. A lifetime. I will not watch any games. I don't care about the scores. If I watch a sports show and I happen to see a score, that's so be it, right? I mean, we live in a, you know, if you want to live in, you know, some kind of remote island like Sentinel Island, where you're basically disconnected from the world, then you live like a nomad, right? Which is pretty much impossible. And now in today, so it's kind of really, what I'm saying is it's kind of hard to avoid. If you're trying to boycott something like the NFL, it's kind of hard to avoid, at least trying to avoid the scores. Watching the games is one thing, but like, you know, the scores and stuff like that in the news headlines, it's kind of hard to avoid that. Right. But for the most part, I don't watch NFL games. I don't support anything monetarily regarding the NFL. Point blank and simple. It's a lifetime ban. I don't care. I don't care about my former favorite team, the 49ers. I don't care what they do. I could care less. All right. Lifetime ban. So like I said, I'm okay with Colin Kaepernick not being signed. I'm okay with him being signed. I'm still not going to support the NFL. Still not going to watch the NFL, regardless of the outcome. But again, like I said before, I hope that Colin Kaepernick gets every penny out of the NFL white supremacist billionaire boys club owners. I hope he gets every goddamn dime from these goddamn white supremacists. Okay. Now I'm going to read to you. I had a tweet. Yeah, here it is. This is the lawsuit. Okay. For collusion. From Colin Kaepernick's lawyer, which is, his name is Mark Garagas. Yeah, Mark Garagas. And he actually represented some high-profile clients in the past. Some celebrities and stuff like that. So, you know, he got an independent lawyer outside of the Players Association. And he filed this lawsuit for collusion against the NFL owners. Okay. So here is the lawsuit, or at least part of it. It says here, Mr. Kaepernick became a free agent on or around March 3rd, 2017. Based on his consistently exceptional career performance, his age, and all other objective metrics, Mr. Kaepernick was an ideal candidate and, in fact, the best qualified candidate to fill the vacant starting QB positions on many NFL teams, or at the very least, the numerous vacant backup positions. Goodell himself has been quoted as stating that the NFL is about mediocrity and opportunity. Okay. However, during his free agent period, the perfectly free market, whose natural function should have resulted in a bidding war, or at least a high level interest for a quarterback of Mr. Kaepernick's caliber, instead functioned as a peculiar institution with suspicious design and objective. NFL teams exhibited unusual and bizarre behavior regarding Mr. Kaepernick's prospective employment. Multiple NFL head coaches and general managers stated that they wanted to sign Mr. Kaepernick only to mysteriously go silent with no explanation and no contract offer made by Mr. Kaepernick. Other NFL teams stated they had no interest in Mr. Kaepernick and refused to explain why. That's very true. NFL teams who ran offensive systems favorable to Mr. Kaepernick's style of play instead employed retired quarterbacks or quarterbacks who have not played in a regular season in years, aka Jay Cutler, and signed into significant contracts while prohibiting Mr. Kaepernick from even trying out or interviewing for these jobs. On or around September 22nd, during a campaign rally against Alabama, talking about Clockwork Orange, President Donald Trump, I can't read that word, referred to NFL players that kneeling during the national anthem as sons of, or referred to NFL players that kneeling during the national anthem as sons of bitches, implying that Mr. Kaepernick was a son of a bitch. Again, where was these white supremacist feminist organizations, like I said before, and demanded that NFL teams fire these players. Since then, President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence have posted tweets and engaged in various public relations stunts designed to retaliate against Mr. Kaepernick and other players that have joined in Kaepernick's peaceful protests. Following Trump's September 22nd, 2017 white supremacist campaign pep rally, NFL owners and affiliates feigned concern for players by either kneeling alongside them or joining them in locking arms, and were even featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine during the same. However, each conduct by NFL owners proved to be a public relations stunt designed to appear empathetic to players. In reality, NFL owners threatened players with fines and suspensions if they refuse to stand for the national anthem in the following weeks. On or around October 10, 2017, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced a proposed NFL rule change requiring players to stand during the national anthem, thereby conceding there was so much prior rule in place. There was no such prior rule in place. That's correct. Again, white supremacists can make up the rules as they see fit. The owners of respondent NFL teams have been quoted describing their communications from President Trump, who has been an organizing force in the collusion among team players in their conduct towards Mr. Kaepernick and NFL players. Owners have described the Trump administration as causing paradigm shifts in their views towards black NFL players, basically. Targeting black NFL players, targeting, obviously, Colin Kaepernick. Again, white supremacists and white supremacy, they evolve. They change. They can move the goalposts as they see fit, because guess what? They created and designed and manufactured and engineered the goalposts. So they can make up their rules, make up their own rules as they see fit. All right. So there's people talking about, this lawsuit, this file of grievance of collusion, it has not going to have a chance, and yada, yada, yada. I saw somebody say, well, Colin doesn't have a chance. He was a free agent. He voluntarily did not re-sign his contract. He was not let go. That kind of thing. White supremacists are trying to spin this around as, this has no chance. But here's the thing. Here's why they're completely wrong. Colin, this was a thought-provoking thing that Colin Kaepernick did. Okay? Kneeling during the so-called national anthem. Because of what? Because the racism, white supremacy, systemic oppression, racial inequalities of black and brown people in this country, police brutality, aka domestic terrorism. Okay, he was kneeling because of that. That sparked a wildfire. That sparked a movement. All right. As a result, because of the backlash, he does not have a job, and more than likely he will never have a job in the NFL ever again. Those are facts. Okay. Now, because the NFL have conspired to make sure, see, he has to prove this. Whether he has to prove this or not is not the point, as I'm making, right? The white supremacists are like, well, he has to prove there has to be a smoking gun. That's not the point. Okay? That's not the point. The point is that this news of the NFL, this lawsuit that's going into mainstream media outlets, that's going into news cycles, bringing up Donald Trump, Clockwork Orange. All of this is negative publicity. This is bad business. This is bad business when it comes to advertisers who have multi-year contracts with the NFL. From an advertiser's perspective, this is bad business. You want to be associated with a business that's being sued for collusion because a player kneeled for the so-called national anthem because of racial inequalities, systemic oppression, police brutality, aka domestic terrorism. You want to, you are the recipient of a lawsuit because of a player can't get a job for the simple fact that he exercised his right to protest and kneel during the so-called national anthem. This is bad business for advertisers. This is bad business all around. So the things that are going to come out of this story as it unravels, either way, is not a good look for the NFL. So this is a win regardless of the outcome, whether or not he can prove there's actual evidence that, you know, they come up with, that they can prove the all the NFL owners, these white supremacist owners, conspired to make sure Colin Kaepernick has a job. That is not the point. The point is he already won, because this is bad business for the NFL long term. The NFL ratings are dropping. Star players can't be on the field. This particular business is not only bad business for the players itself, but it shows that this is a sport that has not been safe and continues not to be safe, because the top dog players with these big contracts are out for the season. Aaron Rodgers just got out for the season. All right. So on a multitude of levels, Colin Kaepernick is someone that had the foresight to see this come to this situation. Like I said, I knew that he was working on a lawsuit in the background. That's why he remained silent. He didn't do any interviews, etc., with the mainstream media. And this is the reason why. This is the reason why you see here. All right. So regardless of the outcome of whether he gets actual evidence that every white supremacist NFL owner colluded to make sure Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job, that's not the point. He's already presenting this to these advertisers that the NFL is bad business all around. Bad business. Not only is bad business, but it is a bad sport or a bad career to be employed in, period. Kids are looking at this like, why would I want to work for an organization that is being sued by a player who can't get a job because he exercised his right to protest against racial inequalities? Why would I want to be assigned? Why would I be associated with that? Why are all these damn players, these NFL players who have these large contracts, out for the season with these horrendous injuries? This is an extremely violent sport. I'm gonna just go and do basketball or baseball or soccer. I'm gonna get that money over there. I'm not gonna be playing. This is embedded in people's minds. If they're not saying it, they're thinking it. If they're playing this sport, they're having second thoughts. If they're really good at this sport, they're really having second thoughts in the back of their mind. You know? So much props, much respect, because to Colin Kaepernick, because he already won this. He already won this already. This is a W for Colin Kaepernick. A huge victory right here. And as his story continues to grow and continues to make headlines, this will make the NFL look devastated day after day after day. Point blank and simple. The NFL must fail, like I said in my past video. The NFL has to fail. It needs to fail. Point blank and simple. And I'm so glad that Colin Kaepernick decided to challenge white supremacy and make these motherfuckers buckle. Straight up. All right? So those are my thoughts on that, family. Leave your comments down below about Kaepernick filing a lawsuit against these white supremacist owners in the NFL. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, family. Until next time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist, signing out.